All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money Sports Betting Show, Thursday, December 7th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad.
I was all right on my picks yesterday. I went 5-3 yesterday on my picks. Puts me at 707 and 543 on the year. I had the Heat at the plus 4.5. They won the game. I was right there, but Rockets beat the Thunders. I had that game wrong, and then the Clippers beat the Nuggets, so I had that game wrong. I went 2-0 in hockey, 1-1 in college basketball. Ball State won as the underdogs, barely, but they ended up winning that game. Trailed most that game, but then I had Texas at the plus 8.5 against Marquette, and Marquette beat Texas, I think, like, I want to say close to 20 points.
Marquette's a pretty good team, I think. I went 4-4. I did terrible in the NBA. Went 1-3, but I went 3-1 in hockey. So,
Hey, how's it going, Glenn? I know Glenn looked like Glenn had a good day. That PRI,
Yep.
yeah, PRI day one that he was at.
He's probably ready for the basketball game. I imagine. I'm sure he's going to watch it tonight. Probably excited for it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for. I'm ready to watch it. Still weird that it starts at 5 o'clock, but
Yeah.
I kind of like that it starts at 5 because you have the football game at 8. Even though how good is that game going to be tonight? We'll see. But then I think the other game, basketball game, I think starts at 9, if I remember right. So
Yeah. 9 o'clock.
So I guess it's spread out a little bit, but yeah, 5 o'clock. They're in Vegas, so that's what 2 o'clock in Vegas. It's kind of I don't know. You would think they'd be you think they would draw more fans and more people watching if it was a little later in the evening.
Yeah. This game's on ESPN, I believe.
Because people, with people being at work and stuff, I don't know. You think you get a little bit better viewership.
Yeah, because it's out there in Vegas. It's
Also,
be 2 o'clock.
But I also understand the way doing the one game early because even if it's a bad NFL game, you're still trying to compete against the NFL, and NFL's the king when it comes to sports in the United States with people watching. So I understand in a little way, but it was a little surprising. Got some Thursday night football night, of course, the NBA in-season tournament. There's some hockey. I didn't do anything with college basketball. There wasn't much college basketball in the games there was. A lot of teams I never even hardly heard of. There's a lot of smaller colleges. Hell, there was one that said I think Bethel, Indiana, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know that they had a basketball team.
Careful.
And it said IND after, so I was assuming that meant Indiana. They were playing like Wright State. I was like I didn't know, but so that was a little interesting. Uh, NFL game night. I guess we can go ahead and start there. Patriots out the Steelers. We get the odds pulled back up. The Steelers were like 6-point favorites or 5.5-point favorites.
What changes you think New England's going to make? I mean, I don't know if they're going to
Okay,
change.
Steelers are 5-point favorites.
5 now. Okay.
Oh, wait, I can't fucking see. 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what my problem is. I can't fucking read.
I mean, New England's been incredibly bad this year. What do you think they need to? What's their biggest problem? I mean, is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it both? I mean, is it everything? Is it the management? I mean, something's got to change because they're slowly going downhill. Have been for the last 2 or 3 years.
Biggest problem, I think, they don't have the quarterback. I think that's their number one problem. Mac Jones had a decent rookie year, kind of looked like he might be the guy, but since then has not looked good at all. And these guys are bringing in as they have as the backups aren't no better. I think that's the one thing. I think that's the main thing they got to figure out. And then their other problem, I would say, is got to get a little more weapons. But I think that goes down to Belichick as a GM, not as a coach. I think Belichick's a hell of a coach. I don't think it's coaching. If you watch that team, they play hard. Their defense is still good. They are in. I think they've only been blown out maybe once or twice. They've been in a lot of games, but they can't score. They can't score no points.
That's true.
But I think if you look at it, Belichick as a GM has had trouble at like the wide receiver position, some of the playmaking positions, hitting on those. He does great hitting on like a lot of the defensive players and stuff, but it seems like they've had. I mean, when's the last time you can remember New England having like a top wide receiver or a top running back, especially the one that they drafted that they end up. I mean, even when Brady was there, it wasn't like they always had top notch weapons, and and when they did, I mean, they had Randy Moss for a year or two, but they, I mean, they traded for him or whatever. It wasn't somebody they drafted and developed. But the biggest thing is at quarterback. And last year, everybody killed the Patriots. Belichick made a mistake having Patricia and Judge as offensive coordinators, defensive coach. That's why Mac Jones took a step back. Hell, he looked just as bad or worse this year, and they went and got a guy that's a proven good offensive play caller in Bill O'Brien. I mean, people can say what they want about O'Brien, but when he was with the Texans, look at the quarterbacks he had to deal with, and they done pretty good. His biggest problem with the Texans, again, to me, was trying to be both coach and GM. As a coach, I thought he done a good job with the Texans. GM O'Brien with the Texans, I thought was terrible. Yeah. But you bring him in, and you think the offense is going to look more like it did when Mac was a rookie. He coached Mac Jones in college at Alabama as offensive coordinator, and that didn't work. I mean, like I said, Jones really kind of looked worse.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so,
if anything,
I think that's their main issues. They got to figure out the quarterback. I know a lot of people think they're going to move up. That they're going to move on from Belichick. I don't know. That's a tough situation to be in if you're an owner. You got a guy that's considered the best coach ever, has done won a lot for that organization, and I think it'd be hard to let him go, especially where you're looking like you're going to have a chance for a top 3 pick, and you might be able to try to get a quarterback.
Do they have a first-round pick? I know a lot of times they've traded stuff, so I wasn't sure where they was at.
Yeah, I'm about positive they have a first-round pick, and I think right now they'd be like was it second or third? I think.
So they could.
So I would think they keep Belichick at least another year or two and see if they since they're going to get probably a top 5 pick, try to get try to find the quarterback and try and get things turned around. I mean, you see it. I know some people think, oh, it's more than just one player. But yeah, but look at the difference C.J. Stroud's made with the Texans. I'm not saying it's all C.J. Stroud, but having a guy at quarterback that can make plays, don't turn the ball over, and don't don't put you in bad situations is a big thing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, Texans they've done good with their in the draft the last couple of years. A lot of those guys are producing. D'Amico Ryans came in, I think, helped change that culture. But CJ Stroud's a big part of it because you got a guy at quarterback that everybody believes in, and that's a big thing. If your team don't believe in the quarterback, a perfect example to me is the New York Jets. You honestly think the Jets would be in the situation they are right now if Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have got hurt? I'm not saying the Jets would be best team in the AFC, but I think they would have a winning record, be in playoff contention.
Yep.
But they had to go back to Zach Wilson, which nobody in that Jets organization, in my opinion, believe in. I mean, especially the players. They proved that last year. They were wearing Mike White T-shirts, the guy that came in to replace him last year and stuff. That that team was. If the players don't believe in the quarterback, who's everybody says the most important player on your team, it's going to be hard to go anywhere. And I think that's one thing that's changed with the Texans is that whole team believes in CJ Stroud. He has that leadership quality where he came in and boom, everybody believed, hey, we have a chance with this guy. And I think New England needs a guy like that. I mean, even with the Colts, Minshew's played decent, but when Richardson was in there at the beginning of the year, there was a little more excitement around the team. Now I think Steichen's done a great job with the Colts with everything that's happened this year with Taylor being out, and then you lose. Then they decide to cut Leonard, and then
we've lost defensive players.
Yeah,
I think we lost another one, didn't we?
Yeah, I think another one got suspended. We're getting the one guy back. We'll get Stewart back this week.
What? Real quick, if you was in New England, what is there a quarterback out there? Do you think you draft one? And if you draft one, which quarterback out there do you think would be the good fit? Either whether it's a player that's playing in the league right now or somebody you would draft from college.
I think they would like with the way Belichick coaches and stuff. I think Drake May.
That's what I was
would be a good fit. Would be a good fit from New England.
I thought, yeah. I don't think the guy from I don't know if the guy from USC is a fit there.
Or yeah, I don't know either. That's why I didn't say him. Plus, I don't think they're going to have the number 1 pick, and he might go number 1 to the Bears.
I don't know.
I wouldn't take him number 1, but I could see him going number 1 to the Bears, and I think the Bears are taking a quarterback. I don't see them sticking with Fields again. I don't know how you can. After last year, you passed up on being able. You gave up the number 1 pick and stuck with Fields, and in the way this year has been, it'd be hard to do. It'd be hard to have the number 1 pick again and stick with Fields again.
Do you think New England would take a shot with a guy like Fields?
I mean, maybe because that's one way. I mean, if you watch Belichick, he's built. He has done a lot through free agency. My only thing is, do you want to take a chance on that after what just happened with a guy like Jones that you gave a couple years? Do you want to take a chance on the guy that hasn't really, really done anything yet?
They went out. Bears went out and got some weapons, and it really got no better. Where New England don't have any weapons, so do you want to? I mean, yeah. All
right, but let's see. So it's a 6-point favorite for the Steelers. Over-under's at 30.5. This was at 30. 30 is the lowest total since 2000. Would be since 2006. No total has been under 30 since 1993, and that was New England Patriots, Indianapolis Colts, and the Patriots won that game 38-0. That was a game where it was like 30 below zero and everything. It's at 30.5 now. It was at 30 for most of the week. It was even at 29 at one time during the week. I think Steelers win this game. But I don't see a whole lot of points being scored. So the 6-point spread is too much. So I'm going with the under the 30.5 because I can see this being a 6-0 game, a 6-3 game, something like that with the way these two offenses are. And both these defenses at times can look pretty good. I know Pittsburgh's defense is ranked like 21st in the league, which kind of surprised me because when
Yeah.
you watch them play, their defense usually keeps them in the games, and New England's defense usually keeps them in games. So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to come down to who don't turn the ball over, and the Steelers are +9 on turnover differential, and the Patriots are -9. So Pittsburgh has the advantage there. I think Pittsburgh defense will be able to get a turnover or two, and I think that's how these teams will score their points is by if they can get a turnover and get that good field position. So I'm going to take the under the 30.5 in this game. I do think the Steelers win the game, but I just think 6 points. It's hard to take 6 points when a 6 point spread. When I don't know, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored. So there's going to be enough points to get a 7 point
Yeah.
lead.
This was a tough game because, I mean, I'm not sure about that -30. Is it 30 or 30.5?
30.5.
Yeah, I'm just not sure about that. And then I'm not sure about the -6, but I went ahead and took. I just think Pittsburgh's a better team. I'm going to take Pittsburgh -6.
Pittsburgh -6.
Even though they don't have their starting quarterback, but again, I don't know how big of a drop off that is. I think it's some of a drop off, but I don't know.
Yeah, Glenn.
Major.
Glenn, I doubt that with Zappy at quarterback, they tried that fake spike again after what happened last time he tried the fake spike. Then NBA in-season tournament semifinals. I know a lot of people are excited about this. Should be two pretty good games tonight. First game, 5:00, Indiana Pacers at the Milwaukee Bucks. Pacers Bucks are 5.5 point favorites, -215 on the money line. Pacers are +180 on the money line. Over under is at 2. This went down to 256.5. It was at 257.5.
254.
Which has been the highest total since in a game since 1991. Pacers and Bucks played earlier in the season, and the Pacers won 126-124. So the total was right at 250 in that game. That's the only time they played this season. So Pacers do lead this season series 1-0. Dame Lillard didn't play that game, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Giannis played, but Lillard didn't play. If I remember, I'm pretty sure. I'm about 90% sure on that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's going to be a good game. You're on a neutral court in Vegas. I'm going with the Pacers at the +5.5. I think, of course, I'm a Pacer fan. I want the Pacers to win, but I think it's going to be a close game either way. I think it's going to be probably a 2 or 3 point game. And then I'm going to go with the under the 250. What did I say it was? 256?
256.5.
Yeah, 256.5. It was at 257.5. Yeah. I'm going to go the under the 256.5. I think both these teams are going to be amped up, going to be playing a little bit tighter defense, more like a playoff style defense, like we saw kind of with the Pacers and the Celtics the other night. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if both teams are around 115, 120, but I don't think both teams are going to get over 125. I think you're going to see a little bit more defense played in this game because I think it's going to be more like a playoff atmosphere. So I'm going with the under the 256.5 and Pacers at the +5.5. The next game, Pelicans at the Lakers. Lakers are 2 point favorites. That's changed because that was at 1.5. They're -134 on the money line. The Pelicans are +114 on the money line. Over under for this game is set at 231. I think this is going to be a closer game than what a lot of people expect. It wouldn't surprise me if the Pelicans are have a chance to win this game at the end. They've been playing pretty well, but I'm gonna go with the Lakers at the -2 in this game. I think for the Pelicans to beat the Lakers, they don't want it to be a 1 or 2 point game because if it is, they're not going to get any calls toward the end.
Yep.
Because the NBA would especially if the Pacers were to beat the Bucks. If the Pacers would to beat the Bucks in that first game, the NBA is going to want the Lakers to win that next game. because they're not going to want the Bucks or Pacers and Pelicans. Don't get me wrong; they'd much rather have the Bucks. They don't want the Pacers there at all. They'd much rather have the Bucks and the Lakers. But if the Pacers do beat the Bucks that first game, they're definitely going to at least want LeBron in that championship game, especially since if you're not going to have Giannis or Dame in there. Uh, so New Orleans definitely don't want it to be a real close game down at the end. So I'm going with the Lakers at the -2.
Yeah, my my NBA picks. Excuse me. I'm gonna go with in the Indiana Milwaukee game. I'm going with under 256.5, and then I'm taking the Pelicans plus the 2 against the Lakers. Uh, every time I've picked against the Pelicans this year, I've lost. So the last time I picked them. The last time I picked them, I didn't pick against them, and I won. So I'm not picking against them.
All right, and then in NHL tonight, I had 3 games. There was quite a few games in hockey tonight, but I went with 3 of them. Damn, Golden Knights finally won a game. I picked a game last night when I picked them. They were doing good for me at the beginning of the season. Though, about 2-3 games in a row, I picked them and they got beat.
It was your fault. You started picking them and they lost.
And then they won, but they was able to win last night. But I'm going with the Maple Leafs on the money line against the Senators, the Stars on the money line against the Capitals, and the Avalanche on the money line at home against the Jets. That's going to be my 3 picks for the hockey tonight.
Yeah, my NHL for tonight, I got Anaheim at Chicago. I'm going to take Chicago money line. I got San Jose at Detroit. I'll take Detroit money line. Red Wings been playing good lately. And then I got Winnipeg at Colorado. I'll take Colorado money line. And then I got Buffalo at Boston. I'll take the Bruins money line.
All right. That's like I said. That's all the games for tonight because I didn't do any college basketball. Did you do any college basketball?
Nope, I did not.
Like I said, there is a lot of the smaller teams. And, I really didn't like hardly any of the spreads or anything. Not enough teams I knew enough about, so I stayed away from the college basketball for tonight. Sure, I'll give out some college basketball tomorrow. Going into the weekend, there's usually some pretty good matchups. Also, we got one college football game on Saturday. We'll give out our picks for that tomorrow. And of course, NFL Sunday. Give out all the picks for that on tomorrow's show on Friday. Well, do you have anything else?
Not really. Just any wrestling fans out there. Been a really good week of pro wrestling. Monday Night Raw was really strong this week. NXT was really strong, and actually AEW was really strong last night. So 3 really good shows. So you guys might check them out. So really good shows so far this week.
AEW was a good show.
There was a couple little things that pissed me off, but it really was a pretty good show. They closed with Edge and Christian, and they got a good storyline going there. They got the MJF Devil storyline, so they got a couple of good storylines going. They've got that tournament going on, and it's some pretty good matches. There was a couple of things where they say they're going to go by the rules, and they've got this set up of no interference. You can't interfere, no managers at ringside, and all about the rules. And then the very first thing that Moxley and them do is go outside the ring and into the crowd all over the place, and the guy never counts. But then the thing that really pissed me off, later in the match, they did a spot where they got outside the ring and the guy counted, and they both barely made it in. So 10 minutes later it counted, but before that that pissed me off. And then also Moxley no selling something and come up with a big clothesline and choke the guy out. And then after that guy choked him out and he lifted his arm up, got choked out. 3 seconds later, the guy was back up complaining to the referee that why did he lose the match? Now, if he got choked out, I don't think you're going to be up to 3 seconds later yelling at the referee. So the stuff like that just takes me out of it. But it was a strong match. Now, Swerve Strickland match that he had was outstanding against Briscoe. It was really good. Match. It could end up being match of the week. It was really good. But Raw had a bunch of good matches, and NXT's got a big pay-per-view coming up Saturday, and they did a great job promoting it. Last Legend body slammed Otis. I mean, and when I say she body slammed, she picked him up and she he come off the ropes and she caught him, and then she took 2 steps back and completely body slammed him. I mean, he didn't really have to help her. And she was a professional basketball player, if I remember correctly.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she's a good sized lady. She's probably 6'1", 6'2", but man, she picked him up. It was crazy.
Yeah, when they do stuff like that, it just, I mean, everybody knows it's scripted, but it just you try to suspend the belief, and then when you don't count, and then you count, and then you do it later, it don't do that no more.
And then the next match after that, even though I thought the Swerve Strickland match was great, they came out and did the same thing. Went into the crowd and did the same thing. So why are you doing the same things? And now at least she did try to count, but they put her in a bad spot. The other guy just said, "Hey, they're outside the ring. They're not coming back. I can't count, or I'm gonna look like an idiot." So he just didn't count.
Was there like 5 low blows in a row? We've seen that before.
Yeah, we've seen that. But we didn't have that. But
that's a popular move around here.
Yep. We've seen that before.
I'll never forget Stevie. He goes, "That's a popular move." I was like, "Oh, fuck." It was.
It was. We seen it three times in 3 matches in a row. Low blow, low blow, low blow.
That and what else? Crossbodies getting caught. Remember that one night we saw like 5 little guys try crossbody. It was all big guys. They all kept getting caught.
A 150-pound guy trying to crossbody a 350-pound guy. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
We saw it like at least four times on that night. It worked once.
I think it worked once. But NXT actually got one heck of a card for Saturday night. I'm definitely going to watch it Sunday because we'll be at a show Saturday night. Well, we got a big interview tonight.
Yep.
At 8 o'clock, I believe.
Yep. Join us tonight, 8 o'clock. Chris Chaos and Warren Misery will be joining us. Should be a good conversation. And then Saturday will be, what was it, Crawfordsville?
Yep.
Crawfordsville for NGW. They got a good card. Former Ring of Honor champion Michael Elgin's going to be on that card as well. So that'd be nice getting to see him again.
Yep.
And Zay Gates is on that card, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he said he was going to be there. And Chaos is going to be there. Chaos against Danger. Yeah,
so Danger, and then
and that's a.
I think Adari's there too.
I think that's a no DQ match too. So I think Adari's there. So it's going to be a good show, and going to be our second time there. I'm looking forward to it.
What teams are? I understand it. What do these reporters and these people get by trying to bury this dude's character and I guess not just the reporters, whoever these anonymous sources are, these reporters got with, and I mean, there could be sources or it could be made up. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if there is anonymous sources in that locker room, what are you getting out of putting it out there anonymously like that and just basically trying to run this dude's his character and any chance he has of moving forward and on another team or anything.
See that it sucks. I think that's.
And I can understand if he's reluctant to go back out there and play. You keep putting me out there, and then you bench me because you say I'm not good enough. You put these other guys out there and find out that they're no better. They're no fucking better than me. But then you want me. But now you believe in me. Now you believe in me, and you want me to go back out there. I can understand them feeling a certain kind of way. But if there's something like that going on, that shouldn't ever get out of your building.
I think things would be a lot better in the media. And I guess we're kind of part of the media. If you didn't report stuff unless a source was given, put a name on the source. Yes. Put a name on the source, and that guy will either be right or he'll fall with it. I think that's what it probably should be. We probably shouldn't use anonymous,
especially if it's something like that where you're going after a guy's character. It's one thing if it's something about he you know what I mean, like his throwing, he made the wrong throw or something like that, read making the wrong reads. Okay, you're criticizing the guy. I can understand that, but when you're attacking the guy's like character like that, that's totally different, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's one thing to be critical of somebody, but it's another thing to attack a guy's character and basically say the guy's turning his back on his team and all this. Where if you don't know that's 100% true, you can't. I don't think you should put it out there.
I don't know if Wilson will ever make it be an NFL starting quarterback again. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know he's not going to be with the Jets. It's over there. He needs to get out of there and try to find another place, maybe as a backup, and try to work his way up. Because it's over there.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's over there. I'm interested to see if they keep this coach. Is this coach going to get a pass because of the Aaron Rodgers injury,
I'd say,
or are they going to move on?
I say he gets a pass.
I don't know. I think he does, but then when you look at it, they were like 7-4 last year or something, and then lost like their last 7 games, and then now they got off to 4-3 start. Now you've lost. If you lose out, you lose your like last 10 or 11 games. It's to me that to have 2 big losing streaks like that, it's hard to come back from it and keep your job. So I don't, you know what I mean, but I also understand they lost a guy they built their franchise, their team around this year.
Well, I think the Jets made, and I don't know whose decision was, if it was the coach's decision, general manager's, owner, all together. When Rodgers got hurt the first game, they should have went out and looked for a veteran quarterback. They knew what they had in that guy, and at least in my opinion, they knew what they had. I think they should have went out and got somebody. Even they could have started Zach for the next couple games until that other guy got better into the system. But I think they made a mistake trying to go out and get a veteran. Why not try to trade for a Winston or somebody?
Yeah,
with the type of defense they had.
No, I get what you're saying. But
I think they made a mistake.
I think they thought Wilson in this offensive coordinator was different than last year. I think maybe they thought he was going to perform better than what he did. But this offensive coordinator, it looks like the only quarterback he can work with is fucking Rodgers. Because he was with Rodgers at Green Bay. Rodgers is 2-time MVP, was back-to-back MVP.
Well,
then this guy gets a head coach. Then Hackett gets a head coaching job in Denver. That didn't work out well. And then now look at the offense with the Jets this year without Rodgers. So it's
we're blaming Wilson, but they don't fix that offensive line. That offensive line's got to get better too.
Yeah, and I don't think it's all about just like getting all new players. A big part of their problem this year on the offensive line too was injuries, because they've used like 10 or 11 different offensive linemen. I think if they could have stayed healthy, I'm not saying they had the best offensive line, but I think the offensive line would have been better. But like one of their best ones, Becton, I think they only have like one offensive lineman that hasn't missed like substantial time throughout the season. They've had to keep plugging guys in, and I mean, especially offensive line, that's hard to do. You need to have. You need to have that continuity offensive line, and they definitely haven't had that. But no, I agree. I mean, way offensive line playing it, but your coordinators also has to help some, and that was the thing with the Colts last year. Our offense, Matt Ryan never had a chance, and our coordinators and coaches never really made any adjustments to try to help. I mean, hell, you got to try to bring your tight ends. You got to do whatever you can to try to give the guy time. And I was thinking about this the other day, so I'm going to ask you real quick before we get out of here. Indianapolis Colts this year with Shane Steichen, if they would have, I know we got Anthony Richardson, but if we wouldn't have had Richardson and they would have brought back Matt Ryan, do you think Matt Ryan would have looked better this year in Steichen's offense with Steichen as a coach than what he did? Do you think it would have went better than what it did last year with Frank Reich?
I think it would have went better.
Seeing what Steichen's doing with Minshew.
I think it would have went better because, first of all, offensive line's played a lot better. Offensive line, I don't know where we rank, but at least we're middle of the road, if not better. So I definitely think we would have been better there. Um, the running game's been better. So yeah, I mean, we couldn't run the football. We couldn't block. We couldn't
I agree.
protect it.
I think Matt Ryan would have had a pretty good season this year with Shane Steichen. And the way the Colts look this year, if you had him back there at quarterback, I think we'd have been pretty good. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with you. But one thing that I am not happy about with the Colts, and I don't know if it's just they're not very good or what, but I thought we would get more out of our tight ends.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that, and our defense has disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah.
Our defense has let us down some. Where I thought that was really going to be the strength, the main strength of our team, and they haven't really stepped up like that. You know what I mean. Don't get me wrong. They made some plays when they've had to, but there's been times where, I mean, like there's been some games we could have won if our defense would have been a little tighter. Like, we were not one of the only offenses that was scoring over 20 points every game, and we were, and that earlier in the year we were still losing some games because we scored 38 points 2 weeks in a row and lost. And the way our defense started out at the beginning of the season, I thought our defense was going, but one thing that's hurt us, we have some young guys in the secondary, some injuries in the secondary has hurt us some too. But they've been playing. We've been playing good. One the last four in a row or whatever. It's going to be interesting what we can do with this Bengals team. I think we'll have a good chance against the Bengals.
Quarterback did look good.
Yeah, but I don't think he's. I'm not saying he's going to play terrible, but I don't think he's going to play like that. That was like to me. That's like a once in a lifetime game. I mean, if not, why has this guy been sitting since? Yeah, he hadn't won a game since 2018. You know what I mean? Yeah. So don't get me wrong, he looked good. I mean, like, damn, who is this guy? Because I wasn't expecting I thought the Bengals defense would keep the game close, but I never thought that game was going to be a shootout like it ended up being. Real quick, did you see where Trevor Lawrence is already back on the field practicing?
Really, I didn't think there was any way he'd play.
There's a chance he might play this week. I figured he'd be out at least 2 weeks, but he was out on practice day. He didn't have didn't have the ankle like tape on the outside of the ankle or nothing. He was out there, and he moved. I mean, I'm not saying he was moving like 100%, but he was moving around, showed him jogging a little bit, and I'm like, the way that looked Monday night, I thought his season might be done for the rest of the season. And then they said a high ankle sprain, so I was figuring at least 2 weeks, maybe closer to 3. And then they're talking like he might play this week.
So, something we hadn't talked about real quick. Shaq Leonard going to
the Eagles. Going to Eagles. I think that's a good fit.
Yeah, I do too. I
good pickup for the Eagles.
I think so. Unless we're just wrong, and the Colts seen something that he couldn't do anymore with because of the injury or whatever. There's something there.
Jeff Saturday was on McAfee's show Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
and he said that, and Pat asked him about that, why he thought about Leonard, because of course Saturday was there last year.
Yeah,
and found out a little bit more about Saturday becoming a coach and stuff. He talked about that a little bit, and some of the stuff he said, well, that was pretty interesting. But he said that Saturday said he thinks what happened with Leonard was he had that injury. While he was out from injury, you had guys like Franklin, Speed, and these guys step up, guys that maybe had been like special team guys. They got their opportunity, they took advantage of it. When now you got them guys that they make a little less money, but they're playing at a high level like that. You bring Shaq back, you don't want to. You aren't going to take Franklin out because of how good he's playing. So you're trying to integrate him in, but Shaq's a guy that's a competitor, wants to be on the field all the time. So he thinks it just got to the point where it was that they didn't want the conflict for one, and it saves you some money, but the conflict of Shaq being unhappy that he's getting took out, only playing like 65-70% of the snaps, and the coaches having to deal with that and with everything else going on. So he said he thought it was just basically an agreement to kind of split part ways because to keep your culture together, and because, hey, you have respect for Leonard and what he's done and how good of a player he is. But the way you're set up right now, he's not fitting in where he's going to play all them snaps. So it was kind of, let's go ahead and cut him, and then he's not unhappy on the sideline, and it's not causing conflict in the locker room.
I don't know if he still is, but at one point Franklin was leading the
Yeah,
in tackles. So I mean, I know leading the
and
team,
it must not have been a real bad split up, because like last Sunday he was
in the box.
he was in Indianapolis in a suite at the game. So I mean, so it must have. They must have had a conversation.
Well, they didn't have to release him. I mean, they're letting him, hey, we know you want to play. We're not going to play you.
So I'm saying they must Bauer and Ursay or whoever it was must have had a conversation with Leonard, and they all talked, because if he don't seem disgruntled about it, because if he was disgruntled, he wouldn't, you know what I mean? He would have been there in a suite. Don't get me wrong, he's probably a little upset, but you know what I mean? It ain't like they ended in real bad terms.
Yeah, I mean, he could have went out and like some players go out in the media and talk all this crap, and he really didn't do that. He handled it behind closed doors, handled it like a professional. Colts handled it professionally also. So I think, a situation like that's tough. So I mean, it was handled the best way it could be. So
Glenn said he won. It should have been Cowboys.
Yeah, friend of mine at work, he's a big Cowboy fan, and he was hoping Leonard would go there too.
But I think it's a good pickup for the Eagles, because if it works out, he's going to help you. He can help you a lot. If it don't work out,
they had that last game. They had a lot of problem with their linebacker position over the middle. So we'll see if they can help him.
And I mean, Sirianni knows him. You know what I mean? He was there in Indy with Leonard.
It's a good fit.
So I think it'll be a good fit for him. But we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room as well. Join us tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for interview with pro wrestler Chris Chaos and manager Warren Misery. Should be a good conversation. We'll be back tomorrow right around 3 o'clock with another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. Give our picks for NFL on Sunday, college football Saturday, and of course NBA and college basketball and all that. But we appreciate everybody watching. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.